Welcome to a new episode of Make More Money Now Show. I am Patti, Pokorchak, the small biz sales coach. And normally you see Gerry Black over here, my marketing co-host. But today we have a special guest all the way, normally from Chicago, but today she's in her cabin in Wisconsin. So I'll say up front, the internet out there is not exactly like you're pretty rural. But my guest is Marie Hale, and she is my sales soul sister. We met through an online networking event called the Dames, and she is the founder of At Revenue. As I say, she's my sales soul sister. We do similar things, and she has started a nonprofit that helps women achieve better lives through sales knowledge. So welcome, Marie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for just picking me up and loving me. I mean, it was like that instant professional love connection that was like,
I know.
Well, you speak my love language.
Well, yeah, we do. We both see sales being of service to others. We're there to help. And we're not there to be sleazy, manipulative. Like, that's never been part of my vocabulary. I mean, I've been selling for decades, and it's like, I'm here to help others. I'm not there, and that's what got me over my shyness. So, Marie, tell us a little bit more what you do and your two companies.
Absolutely. So I've owned a marketing agency in the Chicagoland area for the better part of 15 years. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I cut my teeth selling used recycling equipment, and then opened a medical spa, and then started one of the largest women's networking organizations in Chicago and grew it from 12 to 350 people in 5 years. From there, I was lucky enough to, one of the first things I did was hire a sales coach, because I knew that was going to be the crux of whether I succeeded or I didn't. And I can remember making $24,000 a year at that time, and sales class was $18,000 a year. And I figured it out because I knew it was going to change my life. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I got to open At Revenue with that sales coach, who was then my life partner and business partner. And we turned lightning into revenue because we put sales and marketing under the same roof and created a absolutely intertwined hand-in-glove process that really revolutionizes small businesses and positions them for scale while building revenue in the organization.
Wow.
We love what we do. It's a full-service digital marketing agency and sales coaching, training, and development. We also looked at what was happening with the feminine recession and the diversity recession and decided to make a difference. So we founded Forward Revolution, which is an arm of At Revenue that gives us an opportunity to take all of those people that are opting out of what's happening and give them free services that will help them with their families, that will keep them at the top of their industry, that will give them work and choices, because when you give people work and choices, they have power. We are done waiting to be empowered. It is time to step into our light, change what's happening, and start preaching the message of professional love. Take great care of people, and everyone grows.
Well, what I say to my students, I teach at my alma mater university, and I say, what I teach you, and it's entrepreneurial sales, is life skills. Because we're all in the influence, persuasion, negotiating. You might not call it sales, but if you got kids, you got a boss, you got colleagues, you got employees, you're in the sales game, because it's all about persuading people to your point of view. And so your forward revolution or evolution, you're giving people skills that they will use for the rest of their lives. Because if you don't know, you don't know to ask for the order. You don't know silence is golden. There's certain rules. And once you know, ask for what you're worth. So today's episode is going to be about, you've had a fair bit of experience about online sales summits, right? Which is sort of the craze because we've all gone virtual, right? There's no more in-person. Well, they're coming back, the in-person, but these online summits have been around for quite a while, and you've had some experience, and we happen to have one coming up too. We're going to put our first one together, so the sales hackathon. But first, tell us a little bit about what you've done with online summits.
So we were in the thick of it as a marketing agency that specializes in speaking, creating speaking engagements and speaker placement and facilitating our own events. We didn't have to pivot. We had to pirouette, and we were doing just spins and spins and spins, redoing everybody's strategies. We even had a book launch in April of 2020.
Wow.
So we learned to go virtual fast. And there's things that are critical when you're going virtual and doing adult education, because I don't believe that you can go to a clubhouse chat and listen to people talk about sales and actually get anything that you're going to apply. So understanding how people learn and putting together a system that speaks everybody's individual language and speaks to their learning styles and gives them a place to fail forward and try things out as a cohort is what really start to get traction. Because if we don't try it and debrief it, we're not going to internalize it. Yeah. Right?
I always say that learning how to sell is not a spectator sport. Is listening to us go, oh, we're so great at sales, does nothing for your own sales. And that's why I use a lot of interaction and role playing, because practicing in front of a potential client is actually a crime. Well, in my books, at least. Yeah, I know. That's what people do all the time.
Yeah. What do they say? I'm going to wing it. The hell are you going to wing it? What are we winging?
Just like professional athletes show up on Super Bowl and game day and say, oh, I'm just going to throw a few balls around. That's what professionals do, right? No, exactly. No, yeah.
And there's so much power to having, first of all, getting out there and failing fabulously.
Yeah.
And then getting back up. But when you're in a position where you can actually get the words out of your mouth, even if you just do a 5-minute pre-call plan and say, these are the things that I want. Now you've got intention. The block starts to fall away. And really, when we're doing our online courses, we're looking at the head trash that's keeping you from saying what you know you should say, right?
I love the head trash. Well, it also gets better. The more you practice, the more succinct you can be. Because I always say, bored people and confused people don't buy. So if you go on for 10 minutes in a monologue, they're like, oh, 30 seconds on, they're gone. It's a waste of time, right? So
right.
The more
we get out of features and benefits land.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know what they want to know from you. Don't talk.
No.
Ask questions. Because when you ask questions, you actually look smarter. And here's the thing. You get answers.
Yeah. And then you have another question, and then another one, and you go deeper and deeper. And then they say, you could really help me with, because they know that you're showing your expertise by the quality of the questions that you're asking and the fact that you're actually listening to them.
Well, Patti, you know this better than anybody. Sales is the first ambassador of your brand.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Everything you need to know about what it's going to be like to work with you. And if you don't have a process, if you don't have a wild and love-based curiosity, and talking about that professional love means caring enough about the person across from you.
That's right. That's right.
Question.
I know when I became a sales, coach almost 8 years ago, and I had to deconstruct what made me successful, because I was like the least likely to succeed in sales at my IBM sales training. But I have sold millions around the world in 2 languages, believe it or not. But it was like, well, I was curious and I was caring. And this goes back to the early days when I realized I'm here to help. So once I realized they don't care about me until I show I care about them. And the more I care about them, the more curious, and the more they're not my best friends, but they're my best biz besties, right? I call them the BBFs, right? My best business friend, right? It's just like, hey, I get to know each other, and it's like, it's not all business, right? Because humans still buy from humans, whether it's online, virtual, or in person. Yeah, it's just a different
motivating factors so that you can speak directly to what it is that they're trying to change. It's what you know about your business means absolutely nothing. It's what they know about your business that counts. And
that solves their problem, right? You're getting some love there from your little Poochie.
I'm getting, I'm getting Pomeranian love while we talk about professional.
Oh, I'm so envious. I'm so envious. So tell us a bit about some of the do's and don'ts of having an online summit or conference.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's so much.
no,
So
I know.
let's start with the do's.
Okay.
First of all, do plan and script. Do not wing it.
Oh God, no.
Winging it is going to be your worst enemy. Because listen, we are all at a point of executive function fatigue. Our
Mm,
limbic system is fried. We are exhausted from what has happened in the world. And what that does is that robs you of your ability to be on your toes. So
right.
all of that wing it that we used to do, that's not in your vocabulary anymore. Have a
No.
plan and have the right tools. The other thing, and this is shout out to my theater community, if you can find somebody who is a former stage manager,
Yeah.
life is going to be beautiful.
Uh,
Because managing that technology and really understanding the tools that you have
mhm.
is going to make everybody else feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
The next thing that I think is critical is you have to create a journey that encompasses everybody's learning styles. And we're talking about behavioral styles as well as the audiovisual kinesthetic. If you've got folks that need to interact physically, you need to have something for them to touch. You need to have a worksheet they can print out. You need to have something interactive that's going to help them internalize the information. Because here's the secret, your job as a speaker, only 10% of it is what you say.
Mhm.
90% of it is making sure that it was heard and that people take action on it. That doesn't happen without a plan.
That's right.
And Patti, what have you seen in events that you've been to with things like breakout rooms or just having one long,
Oh,
long, long.
don't we? Oh God, no. I mean, I've been, there's a sales educators forum, which was the first year was in person in Orlando. It was like drink for me, like drinking from the fire hose, basically. This, 80 sales profs and me, the one entrepreneur who paid for herself to go there. Then I went online and it was deadly boring. They didn't know how to use breakout rooms, so we got put in the same breakout room, twice in a row. So you didn't get to meet new people. I find, hot seat coaching too. I mean, it puts a bit of pressure on me, but if we can't do it, who can? And it just shows people, it gets them involved. And then when it's another student or another attendee, it's like, okay, that person's like me. I would have said that too. And oh no, I shouldn't say that. Okay. And it's you learn from others. And my students at first are apprehensive, anxious about the breakout rooms or role playing, but their favorite part by the end. And you can do it in small groups. It's almost breakout rooms are almost better than being in real life because I can put them in groups of 4. So there's observers and then there's players and they learn from each other, So the second time they do it, it's better, right? And by the third time, you're getting better, So yeah. So what are some of the don'ts? You sort of mentioned like the monologue. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Your trainings are not there for you.
No.
Forever. Yes, the sound of your voice is wonderful, but
Yeah.
we've got people in that room that need to be able to engage with you and
Mhm.
ask, give feedback. And for any of you that have been a speaker on one of these events, it often feels like you're speaking into a black hole and
Yeah.
there is silence. And then you ask a question and people forget that they can interact with you. And so really encouraging people and walking them through how to do it and what the rules of the road are for your event is going to give them a, literally a stress release that, oh, I know how this works. I
Yeah.
don't have to be embarrassed to go in and ask a question. That gives so much power. And the
Let's
other thing,
I was
go
going to say
ahead.
it's creating that safe environment of what happens here happens here. Like I said, practicing in front of potential real clients is a crime. So this is a safe environment. We're all here to learn from each other, and I learn too from others. So yeah,
Oh,
safe.
we're
It's
always
safe.
learning. We're
Yeah.
always. I think another big don't is too much silence and sitting. So
Oh.
if you have a workshop where they are doing some writing down some notes or doing some debriefs, find some funky, fun music to put in there.
That's
Find ways to,
amazing. That's a great idea. I'm actually doing one tomorrow, so and I'll be having them do the worksheet, fill in the blanks, give me 5 different things. So that's yeah, some inspiring.
I'm gonna recommend that you start the playlist with Funky Comedina, and then
Okay,
we can move forward.
okay, yay. Excellent advice. And I find even throwing in a video that reinforces the point you made. It's like in sales, and I couldn't show it yesterday because it disgusts me so much. The Wolf of Wall Street or the Glengarry Glen Rose, because it's so outdated. It's painful to me now. But there's newer ones. There's a show on Netflix that I use now because it says have fun and make money. And what else is in the world is there to do? But
Listen, and I think that's the thing is
yeah,
you got to decide on what the outcome is. If you don't have a purpose
yeah.
to your events and a desired outcome and a follow-up strategy,
Mm-hmm.
just gone out and done some speaking for karmic brownie points. And I am telling you that no matter how many webinars you do, unless you have a plan for follow-up, God is not going to look down and be like, oh, they have spoken. Let us give them the business.
Yeah, I always say, what entrepreneurs do, they fall down on the follow up, right? I mean, they just don't do it. They do it once or twice, and oh my God, that's. Otherwise, I'll be harassing them. It's like, no, try 10 to 20, get the cease and desist order. Yeah, it's time to stop. But it's such a huge thing. It's like follow it through. It's like when you're planning, it's like the summit, the pre-conference, and the post-conference. How do you keep the learnings going? I mean, I sometimes do a follow-on hot seat coaching. Let's drop in, ask questions, because they have to put into practice what they learned, and that's when they really have questions, right? So, you can do a freebie. You do a Facebook Live or YouTube Live, and just hey,
We have so many tools at our disposal. We have such a
yeah,
robust digital world out there. And, if any of you need some of the tools that we use, I am more than happy to share everything from noise canceling devices that drown out everything from pots and pans banging to children screaming to production tools that you can use so that you can not have to do a lot of work in post if you want to reuse this material. But know what your tech stack is, know how it's going to empower you and how you're going to use those pieces after. Because, oh my God, I almost said it and I hate it, but I'm going to say it anyway. The fortune is in the follow-up.
oh God. Okay. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Your bank account will thank us for doing these things. And I guess talking about what have you personally found for doing these online? I mean, there is some money to be made, right? I mean, through sponsorship or
100%.
yeah.
So here's the other thing. You do not plan an event with less than a 3 month lead time because
Yeah.
there are pieces that have to be made. There is a FOMO campaign. There is all of the different pieces that have to go into it. And you want to be able to align people, whether it's co-speakers or sponsors or selling
Yep.
packages of tickets. And one of the things that we always do is for when we have an event, for every 5 tickets sold, we do a scholarship so that we can help keep things going for those that need more. And it encourages people to engage, but you've got to have the time to put that together and find values aligned sponsors that are going to help co-market, fund, and provide feedback.
Yeah.
And I think a lot
Excellent.
of people stop at feedback too.
Yeah.
You've got to follow up.
I love that idea of the 5 for 6 kind of thing of buy 5 and you give one away, because I'm a huge one on giving back too. So I, as as speakers, as trainers, we do a lot for the community, like the library, or different community groups or associations. And I have this incredible heart for starting startups, right? The ones that are struggling to be self-employed, because like you, I'm a serial entrepreneur, went from tech to farming, of course, that's why the accidental farmer. It's such natural progression, but I've done B2B and B2C and in the middle of nowhere, knowing nothing about farming. So if I can do that, what it made me realize that everything revolves about sales and marketing. Once you have to master that for your own business, but once you do, then it's easy street. Well, easier. My sexy title is plod your way to profits. When the fortune is in the follow up, but yeah, you got to plod your way there. Overnight success takes a minimum of 5 to 10 years, but
absolutely.
And but once you get there, it's so worth it, right? It's so worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, if there's one more thing that we want to throw in there, yes, there's money to be made during the events. Never give it away for free.
No.
If you give it away for free, you've established its value.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And you're going to have an audience full of people that can't afford your services. That's why you create the structures of, this is how I fund a scholarship. This is how I fund this particular promotion. If, as a business owner, if you are giving a discount, it's not a discount. You are buying that portion of their ticket for them.
Mm-hmm.
Your value. Make it strong. Let them know that they are going to be walking away with things that they can use immediately, and make sure that that dollar value is commensurate with the kinds of clients that you want to have.
I can give you a firm example. I helped start up a software company, ended up becoming barcode experts, believe it or not. And we used to do like a trade show and give away 2 free tickets to this, all you want to know about barcodes. And when we did a freebie session, like a half-day educational session, when we did a freebie, we get 60 people, of which 20 were consultants who came for the free donuts. Okay. So we started charging for it because, we had expenses, started charging $99. So only people who were really interested in barcode systems would put their card in. And the 40 people that showed up more than covered our costs. And they were true potential clients, and they became clients, because we sort of did a mass education. I mean, we're talking, in the 90s when this, it worked brilliantly. And again, I worked with a telemarketer who did the follow-up. I had the face-to-face meetings. I did the one call close, because, hey, it's just like, okay, you've heard what we can do. And that's the beauty of it. When people are invested, I mean, I think if you do a freebie, it's like you're lucky if half to a third of the people show up, because it's a freebie. They got nothing invested. So make sure you charge, because you're worth it. You're giving value.
Money is just energy, right? We put energy out, and the world has decided that it's going to come back to us in currency. So it's them putting the energy in, and when they put the energy in, they're going to get more out of it as well.
Yeah.
Because that's a perceived value. And you would be surprised at the difference it makes when you take and mark that up appropriately. And again, we do business from a place of professional love. We're not looking to price gouge anybody or do any of those things. But setting it at a value that is going to weed out those that are not going to perform. You want testimonials. You want people to say that they walked out and XYZ happened.
Yeah.
And you do that when it's freebie and they didn't even invest and they probably surfed the internet the entire time.
I know. I register for so many, and I never go, because it's like, oh, I got better things to do. I'm not invested, but if I pay for it, it's like I actually put that in my calendar. I paid for this, so you show up.
I'm going to give you guys one really great tip too. If you do a webinar during a lunch hour, if the value is high enough, I highly recommend that you buy them lunch. Send
Oh,
them a Grubhub gift card or use Eat Engage or another service like that. More than happy to share that with you. Because if they're eating, guess what they're not doing?
yeah,
Their stuff.
yeah.
So when you think about that, if you've got to lay the groundwork for a 4-hour workshop,
Hmm.
if they've got snacks, they're listening to you and possibly taking a little note. But then you can move on to the activity parts and you've got much more traction. It's a
Yeah,
silly thing. It works like gangbusters.
that's right. And that's included in the price of admission, right? I mean, you include that in part of your cost. So it's not quite, I mean, it's free because it's coming out of your profits in a way, but you've marked up your ticket to include that, right? As I mean, the definition of business is exchange, fair exchange of value for money. And if you take my expertise and you make 20 grand more on one contract, as like one of my clients did, 20 grand, that's a pretty, I wasn't charging enough as I was just starting. But yeah, that was a pretty good payback on, a couple $1,000 worth of coaching,
The serious ROI, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if you can make a lot more money by not making the mistakes because we've already made them for you and we share that. Of course we have. Oh yeah. Boy, yeah. The only way you'll learn those, get out of your comfort rut, go do something new. And I would rather speak to 5 paid clients than 50 are there because it's a freebie. They're not really paying attention. So
Yeah.
quality, not quantity is what we're after. So come to so we have a sales hackathon. It's on October 6th and 7th. The links will be in the comments below. I will include Marie's contact information if you want to know more about her. And yeah, thanks for being on our show, Marie. Like I said, we're sales soul sisters and we'll be doing a lot of work together. So thanks again for coming. Really appreciate your insight.
Can't wait to have fun with you. I can't wait to meet those that are the Patti evangelists because I know they've got an awesome tribe and let's put money in their pockets.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. We'll see
Right.
you online October 6th and 7th. And stay tuned and see you again next week.